Hi, in today's video we're gonna cover one of the hacks that we like to use with our customers. Many times they come to us saying, hey, Linscale, our next step field really isn't working. It's not big enough for historicals. We're having a hard time dealing with this field. And today I'm gonna show one of the interesting solutions that we have for that next step historical issue. Really is creating 3 new fields. I know it's a lot, but they're very helpful. And also we're gonna include a custom label or 2 custom labels. It really depends on how the customer likes it. And then uncover the automation that makes everything come to life. So now I'm gonna record my screen. And here we are at the demo environment with the 3 fields that we're discussing here. It's next steps historical, and next steps last updated. Let me perform a quick demo on how it works. So we changed the next steps comment from testing 02 to be a testing 03 and hit save. So what happens is our automation kicks in, gets the new text that was added and include it into the next steps historical field. Along with that information, it also includes when that was added, also who added this, and also which stage the opportunity was when the change was made. We also included the next steps last updated to tell us when it was last updated, timestamp. I know we already have the date, but this field also tells me when, the time. Of course, you could include it time into the next steps historical. It's up to you, really. We often prefer having it separated because it's easily reportable. So now that we saw all the fields, let's actually go to Object Manager and see how they're structured. First, we see here the next step field is the one that is going to be sunset. As you can see here, it's a very small text field, only holds up to 55 characters. The new next steps field actually holds so much more. So it's a long text area field, can hold up to 131,072 characters. That's actually the max amount of characters the long text area field can actually work. In this example, we put the maximum number, but probably you want to put something around 1,000 or 2,000, which is probably better. Next is the next steps historical field. That one actually needs to be maxed out. You never know. You never know when you're gonna input a lot of comments, right? And lastly, the next steps last updated field is a datetime field. It's a regular datetime field. Now that you know all the custom fields that you need, let's move forward for the custom labels that we're gonna use for all the automation. At our last part of the video, custom labels really super helpful for visual pages, formulas, I don't know, hard codes in Apex, automation formulas as well, because they store pieces of text information, which are super helpful. I'm gonna show you why. So here we are with actually 2 custom labels that I like to use. One is called line break. They're very easy to create. So you click new custom label, add a short description, a name, and input a value. You can also put categories if you need. In our case, pretty simple. The name is line break and then line break short. So now let's look at the line break here. The value is actually 2 dashes, but they are separated by a, I don't know, return. I use return on my Mac, so dash, return, dash. And then the line break short, it's just 2 dashes in a row. One dash, another dash. Now, we here on our flow that makes everything come to life. So it's a record trigger flow running on opportunities. It's gonna trigger when a record is created or updated, and the entry condition is when the next steps is changed. Okay, and then optimize this flow for fast field updates because it's so simple. You only need to update the same record, so let's prefer using fast field updates. Because it's a fast field updates, we're going to use the assignment element and actually only update 2 fields. So the next steps field, historical field, and the second is next steps last updated field. For the next steps historical field, we are gonna actually use a formula, and the next steps last updated field is gonna store the flow current date time. Okay, now let's move into the formula we just presented here in the assignment. It's called formula next steps log. It's a little bit of a complicated formula, but I broke it down into 4 parts, and when we revisit the opportunity, you can see, do you remember that I told you it gives you the date, the person, the stage, and then finally the text? So we're gonna actually see that in this formula. So now you see that we have a formula for today's date. So turn today into a text. We also include a dash, so it makes things more organized in the formula. I think it's important to see everything organized in Salesforce. I like that. Then in the second part, we actually included the user first name and the user last name. Then we added more dashes to make things cleaner, and then included the record stage name. We used a text in front of that field because it's a pick list. Another dash, and then next is actually include all the data that we added to the next steps field. And then finally, we have the substitute line break short. So do you remember we created a label called line break short? Let me revisit that again. So line break short has 2 dashes in a row. That's important because using a formula, you cannot include a space between lines. It's very strange, but to overcome this, what we did is we actually created a custom label, and then we're gonna replace the 2 dashes we included in the custom label with an empty value. So we use the substitute formula to find the dash inside the custom label and replace it with an empty value. That's important because it will give you 2 lines, okay? And then, according to this formula, after the second line, after you do this, you have 2 lines. Below that, it's where you include everything that you had in the next steps historical field before the record was saved. That way, it allows you to put every new message into a single line and make things more organized. Now, if you actually want to give more spaces, you know, one after another is not enough, but you actually miss having one additional line between messages. What you can actually do is use the other line break that we created here, because it has an additional line between the dashes. So your messages will actually have one message, a line, an empty line below that, and then the historical messages come after that. So it will give you more spaces between messages. Some people prefer it, some people not. It's totally up to you. With that, this is the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We covered the 3 custom fields that we use, 2 custom labels, and then finally the automation. If you enjoyed the video, please like and also subscribe for our link scale channel. Thank you.